Our quest is to see Nigeria blossom on all sides. Join the discourse where we dissect, analyze, and discuss salient pressing issues from political matters to economy, infrastructure, and national matters arising. Tune in every Saturday from 9 a.m. on Omoluwabi 87.7 FM as we bring you more beyond the news. The discourse, where conversation drives change.
Hi everyone, and this is the Discourse on omoluwabi Radio 87.7 FM. I am Stephen Adedigba, your command. I'll be leading the ship of this program, and you know I will do it on a weekly basis. The Discourse on omoluwabi Radio 87.7 FM is that show where we dissect, analyze, and of course discuss some of the topical issues as it concerns you and I. Don't forget that on the show, we definitely have individuals who join us live in the studio to share their thoughts about different salient national issues. And you, our listener, also have a place to share your thoughts as regarding some of this issue. Today won't be an exception of some of the great things we bring to your listening pleasure on a weekly basis. And, we have a lot for you on the show this morning. You can be rest assured. Tell many people, more people, to join the conversation this morning. When the time is right, you definitely have a chance to share your thoughts about some of these issues. You can also join us live on Facebook at Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. You can see us live and direct, and you can definitely share your thoughts about some of the developing stories that we're definitely going to be sharing with you this morning. I mean, the whole essence of government is because we have people to govern. And that's why we on the show has decided today to discuss some of the salient issues. The people are desirous of more. They want a country where things would work well. They want a country where people at different level of government would influence things to work in the right direction for them. And I can tell you, as a matter of fact, these are some of the major things we are definitely going to be considering on the show today. It's day 3 of the End Bad Governance protest across the country. Of course, in the course of the week, we've seen numerous people come out in their numbers, to share their thoughts about some of the protests. We've seen in Ogun, Oyo, Lagos, in some part of the north. We've seen in Port Harcourt, we've seen in Abuja, Yobe, Nasarawa, we've seen in Kebbi, we've seen in Kaduna, we've seen in Kano. People going on the street to share their thoughts about the streets, about these issues. And bad governance, day 3 of the protest. And this is one of the issues that they are sharing in that regard, that they desire a better country. Many people are also going out there saying that they want Nigeria to be better. That's what they are saying. And we want to definitely know, what is the president doing in this regard? The people at the helm of affairs, what are some of their thoughts in this regard? And bad governance? Are these some of the critical things that government must address at this salient time? These and many more are some of the focus we will definitely be considering on the show this morning. You can also do well to tell many of your friends to join us live on Facebook, and many people can also listen to us, on Radio Garden, those in diaspora, so that they can definitely be a part of the conversation. Just before we delve into the show this morning, I have some insights to share with you. We went on the street and we saw some of the things Nigerians had to say. Many of them are complaining about the hardship and the scourge. And many have said that they are tired, that they desire a better country. But, as media people, what we tell people is we don't have any other place apart from Nigeria. Even if you get a passport to be a citizen of other country, Nigeria is still your own, and it belongs to you and I. And you and I have a role to play. This is a call on the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that Nigerians are out there. What does the future portend for us? We've seen several strides that has been recorded by your own administration, the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We've seen several palliatives. We've seen several funds that has been released. We've seen issues with NEL Fund. We've seen funds being released for students across different levels. But far beyond that, I mean, there are indications that rice will currently be sold across the country at 40,000 naira at designated area. Are Nigerians truly getting this access to those rights? There have been several palliatives. There have been people doing numerous things for government. But are all these things having a positive impact on Nigerians? I mean, these are the questions. I want to crave the indulgence of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to look into the outcry of Nigerians. Nigerians are crying. The hardship scourge is increasing by the day. And these are questions begging for answers. Is this the way the government will continually look at the people, to go on the street for this? Just yesterday, a report was given indicating that Nigeria lost over 500 billion in a day as a result of the day protests. This is sad. When will the president address Nigerians? People have gone on different social media platforms to ask these questions. When will the president address Nigeria? Addressing Nigerians, is it a step in the right direction for Nigeria to move on that trajectory of development and growth? Let's listen to what some Nigerians who went on the street to protest, what they had to say in that regard. Let's listen. Don't go nowhere.
Yes. I'm Bimpe Adelowo, a legal practitioner. We are here just to express our grievances and our misgiving against the bad governance. And we can see that people freely expressing themselves. We can see that people go out peacefully, in peaceful manner, without harassing anybody. I want to appreciate the security personnel as well. They have been so civil, guiding the protesters, so in order to express their grievances against the bad government. And the main thrust of these protests is that the bad governance must end. Hunger must end. Corruption must end. And you can see people on the street. I know by tomorrow the crowd will be more than this. This is just a sensitization for the public on what we are all for. And we believe that if everyone can join hands together, we can end bad governance in this country.
We are here to protest against the bad government and everything that is happening in Nigeria. We are tired. The rate which things are cost is very, very massive. You could imagine I bought my mannequin as of 2 years ago. I bought it 67,000 naira. I went to the market last week. I bought 268,000 gold mannequin. The rate which things are cost is very, 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 very tiring. Please, they should have mercy on us. Even the minimum wage now that they increased to 77,000, they are not helping us. How much is 77,000? You could imagine as a family man, how did they expect us to spend 77,000? You pay school fees, house rent is there, feeding service there. Even the 77,000 is not enough to buy a bag of rice, a bag of curry, and a bag of beans. They should have mercy on us. We are not here to fight. We are not here to against anybody. They should just please have mercy on us.
Yeah, good morning. We are reporting live from Mokola. We are protesting for the betterment of Nigeria. And we pray that the government will hear our cry, will hear the massive cry, and give us a better solution soon in Jesus' name.
Interesting time there. I mean, these were the voices of some Nigerians who put to the streets to protest. We saw many of them. We joined the conversation. We joined the procession in Ibadan. And we see some of those things that transpired across different streets in major parts of the country. In case you just tuned in, this is Omoluwabi Radio 87.7 FM. And this is the discourse where we dissect and, of course, analyze some of the salient national issues as it concerns you and I. Like I was saying before we listened to the inserts. Okay, just a correction then. The minimum wage has approved. One of the protesters said something that it's 77,000. No, so that we keep our listeners in the right trajectory of information. The amount that was approved by the federal government as minimum wage is 70,000 naira. And some people are saying that there has been increase in the cost of commodities in that regards. Nigeria's economy loses over 500 billion in a single day as a result of the nationwide End Bad Governance protest. That's a report that we got there from News Telegraph, indicating that the rate at which the country is experiencing a dwindle in the economic situation is quite unfortunate. What will be the way forward? This show will take a different shape this morning. We want to hear more from our listeners. On Facebook, we have some comments there. Yemi Onigegewura says, good work, sir. And we have Olukemi saying, well done, sir. And of course, we have Emmanuel Chuku. I mean, these are people that have joined us live on Facebook. You also can be a part of this, just such as Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. While we continue with the show this morning, we are expecting someone to join us live in the studio. But just before then, let's bring in in-house analyst, Professor Wale Akinyemi. Prof, it's great having you on the show this morning.
It's great to be here, Icon. Good morning and happy weekend.
It's really, really great. Thanks for coming, showing up this morning. Our focus this morning on the show is the state of the nation. And, when we're talking strategically about the state of the nation, we are considering one major thing in that regard is the protest and bad governance protest. Let's quickly have your introductory shots in that regard. The state of the nation. Nigerians are going to the streets. What efforts is government taking in this regard? Do you think these are steps in the right direction? Today makes it day 3 of the protest. Do you think these are steps in the right direction for Nigerians in this regard?
Thank you very much. The protest, whether you like it or not, is part of the way in which we grow our democracy, because when you have a democratic system of government, people must be given room to express their dissent. You don't expect everybody to agree with government policies. So the fact that government had allowed at least people to express their view without destroying government property is a welcome development. The question to ask is, Nigerians, do they have grounds to protest? Yes, they do. Government, are they really very, very sensitive to the plight of Nigerians? The question is, not until Nigerians complain, because it will appear as if it was business as usual. A whole lot of things Nigerians have been taken for granted for too long, and because this nation is heavily polarized, government just believe that they can use the things that divide us to kind of a divide and rule system of government. But from the way things are going now, poverty is a common denominator. In the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria, poverty is a common thing, and there is no part of the country where they are not feeling the harsh effect of poverty. And this is exacerbated by outside they are protesting. You find out that their youthful population. So it will appear as if it is the youthful population really that are feeling the impact of this more than any other one. And that is why government should take it with all seriousness at their disposal. I know that they have made effort to say that they are meeting Nigerians at the point of need. They have done a lot of work, a lot of PR, and a lot of persuasion, a lot of dialoguing with people and the rest of it, the various stakeholders and the rest of it. It is not sufficient. I don't want government to go back to bed and say that yes, you have been able to break their bone now. Because when protest is worse, government has the opportunity now to appeal to people because they served government in a warning. That is why they can put some things together. The security organizations themselves are put on their toes. But if they just feel that, okay, we have been able to break their bone now, and then they go back to doing what they are used to doing, not giving Nigerians good governance, God forbid it, if there is spontaneous protest, that one is going to be very, very serious and it's going to be bloody and violent.
Absolutely. That's Professor Wole Akinyemi. Join us live in the studio this morning. In case you just tuned in, this is Omoluwabi 87.7 FM, broadcasting live from Mokola Hill, here in the city of Ibadan. And you know, basically what we do on the show is to discuss some of the major salient national issues as it concerns you, as it concerns me. And like I rightly said earlier, today won't be an exception of some of the great things we dish for your listening pleasure. Professor Wole Akinyemi, we've seen protests across major parts. We listened to one of the protesters in Ibadan who said that they want to express their profound gratitude to the security operatives in Ibadan. Now, what do you make of that? Because I was indeed a part of the procession on the very first day. You know, as media, we had to cover, what the grievances of the people were. And we saw from all indications that Nigerians at that critical time, the security architecture, the apparatus of the security men there, they were fully present to protect the people. What would you make of this? Because in other states, it's on the contrary. But in Oyo State, we had that. We've seen the CP, we've seen DPO of different police divisions within Ibadan, and other parts where protests were staged within Oyo State. What would you make of this, Professor Wole Akinyemi?
Well, the security organizations, especially the police, they've been very, very professional in handling this particular protest. I must commend them, because ordinarily, if they have come out with a force, use water cannon, use tear gas and the rest of it. Those are the kind of things that can make people to react very, very violently. But because they also have handled this thing in such a very civil way, I think it is commendable. It is part of the signal that we are actually growing this democracy. Because the police it's not every time that the police should see themselves as enemies of the people. It's a service, really. I think Nigerian police should even be repositioned from being called Nigerian Police Force to be called Nigerian Police Service. Policing is a service, it's not a force. Now, having said this, let me say some things that people don't understand about the dynamics of protest in Nigeria. You will see that this protest is more violent now in the northern part of the country. That is telling you something if you look very, very carefully. It's exactly the opposite of what happened during ENSA. When it was ENSA, it was very, very violent in the south.
In the south.
The people they didn't do anything. Today, now, this end by bad governance is violent in the north, and in the south, it's a bit manageable. What is that telling you? The political equation in Nigeria. The truth of the matter is that some people have conspired in the north to make sure that they frustrate the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Professor Wole Akinyemi, that's leading us to another line of discourse this morning. During President Jonathan, there were several opposition that were raised. Yep. Is opposition not part of government?
Opposition is part of government. Opposition is desirable in government. But what we have always said is that what we want is critical opposition, not opposition that you just do because you want to destroy. It should be positive, because we are all stakeholders in this country. So when you are criticizing, you should be able to provide alternative solutions, not just criticizing for the sake of criticizing. But if you look at Nigeria the way it is now, in all the 8 years of ex-president Muhammadu Buhari,
yes,
there is nothing that this government has done that they have not done too. And whether we like it or not, the kind of mismanagement that we had during those periods is what has precipitated the problem we are coping with today. So there is no way that they will now say that in all of those years, the Northerners did not, and I repeat, they did not go on strike. They did not even raise any dissenting voice against their son. this idea of omoluwabi is something that is a terrible thing in Nigeria, but it cannot go away. So now that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is there, you will see that some people have been reacting. The other day, El Rufai was paying a visit to ex-president Muhammadu Buhari.
Yes.
So many other important politicians, of northern extract, they have been doing some gathering together, some conspiracy and the rest of it, all with the idea of let's remove him, let's gang up against him and the rest of it. I'm not saying that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government is delivering value, no. But what I'm saying is there is a situation in this country where there is so much nepotism, and where we should actually be very, very critical in looking at things. We are beclouded by the lens of tribalism and the rest of it. It is something that is it's not welcome. Now let me tell you, government is saying something that Peter Obi is sponsoring the protest. I completely disagree, because go and feel the pulse of the people in the southeast. As far as they are concerned, we told you people, you didn't listen to us, so suffer the consequence. The Easterners are not in the mood to protest. They said, okay, maybe we told you people, go ahead now, suffer the consequence. That's the attitude. And I can assure you, because whether you like it or not, the people of the southeast have owned Peter Obi. So if Peter Obi cannot mobilize the people from the southeast, how then will he be able to mobilize the people from the north and the southwest? And whether you like it or not, in the southwest, there have been some very, very serious period going on, saying that Omoluwabi and Bernie saying, and it will appear as if it's working, because the southwest people are now saying that we are the only people who seem to have some modicum of balance when it comes to things like this. If you are there from the southwest, whether you are from them or not, in fact, the most critical, the critic of this government, they are from the south. The Falanas of this world, address of it, they are from the southwest, and that is the way we do things in this part of the country. Unfortunately, we don't find that kind of a thing in the rest of the country.
Absolutely. Let's take a few comments on Facebook. Emmanuel Chukwu says, well done, sir, from Mokola. And we appreciate you for being a part. You can definitely tell more people they can listen to us, on through Facebook, through Radio Garden, and other platforms. I'm sure there are numerous people who have some things to share in this regards. We want to take your own view as regarding some of those issues. 0704 700 7999. 0704 700 7999. Let's see, I think we do have a caller. Good morning. As regarding some of those issues. 070. Hello. 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 Oh, unfortunately, we lost that call. You can do well to call us back, 0704 700 7999, 0704 700 7999, or you call 0805 388 8933, 0805 388 8933. Professor Wole Akinyemi, let's touchlight what's transpired in Kano State. This development by the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, who said that there's a digital hub in Kano State that was looted and destroyed. He said they are awaiting commissioning in that regards. That was destroyed, and he said millions of naira go down the drain. In that regards too, we saw developmental stories from the same Kano State, where some of the major places were destroyed. We saw traffic light being destroyed. Do you think in that light that... Okay, let's quickly pick this call. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from. What did you say? Your name? Ruth.
Calling from Malakia.
Ruth calling from Malakia. Let's have your take this morning.
On the protest,
Yeah.
I must give kudos to the protesters of your state.
Okay.
Showing a peaceful protest in the district of Oyo State, and I must commend the security personnel and the Oyo State government for ensuring adequate security, which was evident in the way they decided their day. So I will just all the protesters of Oyo State to continue to maintain a peaceful protest and calling on other states to emulate Oyo State, because destroying public property is not the way forward. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Ruth from Lakia. We do appreciate your comment on the show this morning. Okay, let's check this person. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Yeah, my name is Oluwadamilola. I'm calling from Bodija.
Bodija. Damilola, let's have your take this morning.
All right. Yeah, I want to contribute to the issue of protest.
Okay.
Now, here in Ibadan, it went well. In my area, everything was okay. Now, it's a commendable one. And to think that the governor said he was going to provide security for those that were going to protest, and he kept to his promise. It's a very good one. It's so sad that some part of the country protest was hijacked. It's so sad. I hope that at this point, the president will come out and address we, the people of this nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We do appreciate you. Thanks for your contribution. You also can be a part of the conversation. You can call the studio line 0704 700 7999. 0704 700 7999. Professor Wole Akinyemi, you did listen to what some of the callers said. They said in Oyo State, the protest has been peaceful. I mean, in time past, you've seen protests, how it has turned out to be. But in Oyo State, it has really, really been peaceful. We've had the security operatives readily available to safeguard some of those protesters. Okay, let's also pick this call. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm Matthew. I'm calling from Elele.
From Elele. Let's have your take this morning.
Yeah, my contribution is that actually the problem of this country, everybody, we have already seen everything that is telling us, and they are hearing it.
Okay.
My issue now is that if these people did not want us to protest, then let them help us and stop at the problem that is telling us, that is making us to come out to do the protest.
For the protest.
Yes, let them help us. Because, you know, if they are not taking good care of us,
yes,
definitely they are losing their respect. People will be talking anyhow. But when they are taking good care of the nation, you know, people will be proud and people will be, you know, hailing them. You know, they will be hailing their government. So that is just it. Once you are doing good things, people will hail you. And when you are doing something wrong that is not good, they can't be hailing you when you are doing something wrong.
Well, absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah, we appreciate
so my
it.
contribution for this issue now is that actually they have succeeded of jacking this protest. But I'm begging them in the name of God that even though already they have seen the sign, even when they come back, they should not say because they are overpower us, they will still continue to do what they are doing. Let them, because if they continue to do what they are doing, truly, the next time they came out, it will not be better like that. It will not be okay. It will be violent.
It will be violent.
So let them help us so that when they come back, let them also sit down and adjust themselves. Let them adjust themselves. You know? And
absolutely. Thank you. Let's take other people's comment this morning. Thank you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Your name and where you're calling from, sir?
Calling from Manara.
Okay, let's have your contribution.
I think it is time for the federal government, especially Mr. President, to address the nation now.
Okay.
Because most of the protesters, they are teaming Nigerian youth. And if care is not taken, what really happened in northern part of the country can spread to another region as well. But I think in Oyo State, thank God that we have happy, free, violence demonstration. So our security agency, including the Amateur Corps and the protesters, we need to commend them.
Absolutely.
By handling the event effectively. And Oyo State government as well, by taking proactive steps so far.
Absolutely.
Because
please,
I recall last week, Monday, the whole stakeholder meeting regarding this protest.
Yeah.
I think it really worked out.
Absolutely.
God continue that that's right.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen. Thank you. Let's take another caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
This is
Adirunke from where, please?
Muslim.
From Muslim. Please, let's have your take on your contribution this morning.
On the protest, it's so sad that the president is yet to address us.
Okay.
Today is day 3 of the protest. So it's not a good thing from the president not to have addressed us up to this moment. So thank God that the peaceful protest in Oyo State as there has not been case of massacre or violence. So I commend the protest architecture and the protester that they have done a very good, well done job. As they are pushing to the word of the that we should not vandalize property or destroy property. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Adirunke, all the way from Muslim. We do appreciate you. Let's take a few comments on Facebook. Nikolade says, protest isn't war, bad government is. Arrest hunger, not the hungry. And we also have Sergio Joseph Mania, who says, good morning, sir. Well done for doing a great job. Please, I want Prof to tell me, is it justifiable for justices to restrict protesters to a hiding place, considering the fact that people want to express their angers on the street? Sergio Joseph Mania. Prof, I mean, this listener has this question to ask you. And the bone of contention from this person is it justifiable for justices to restrict protesters to a hiding place? Because we see developmental stories there from Lagos. They have directed that people should go to the Ganifa Park at Ojota. That's where they can have this protest. Also, the same story in Abuja. They said they can't have the protest inside the stadium, but they had a confided place where they have told them to have that protest. And this person wants to know, he's saying, is it justifiable for protesters to be restricted? Is that how it is being done on the global scene? I mean, as far as Nigeria is concerned, our government is also trying as much as possible to be pragmatic in their approach to avert people from destroying public properties. What's your take in this regard, Prof?
Thank you very much. Abroad, people do protest, but it's not on hunger. They protest on some other some of those the issues that they protest on are even very funny, laughable issues. You know, you see the Rainbow Coalition people, bisexual people, and all of that coming out. They protest. Some people will protest that on animals that they should be well taken care of. Some people will protest on the way old people are taken care of. Some people will even protest about their government intervening in the affairs of some other countries. And that is because government has been very responsive in those climates. That's why they are protesting about those other issues. But in Nigeria here, our protest is always about bad governance. So it's an issue that confers that every other person. Is it not when you are comfortable, when you have eaten, when you are not hungry, that you have issues that whether somebody is homosexual or bisexual or whatever? You understand these issues you are talking about. Now, on the issue of restricting people to certain places, it is a global thing. Yes, because there are some places all over the world.
Prof, that's justifiable? Is that your comment?
Yes, to some extent it's justifiable because there are justices that made that pronouncement. They would have balanced the reality of the situation with their pronouncement in court. The absolute truth of the matter is that Lagos State cannot afford street protest at this particular moment.
Let's look at the
experience of our NSAS.
Let's look at it in retrospect. Professor Wale Akimi, 700 billion naira went down the drain. The forensic lab we have in Lekki, in Lagos, was burnt over, several numbers of buses, BRT buses, newly bought ones, were burnt in that regard. And the state government is saying that, see, we are not saying you cannot protest. What we are just saying is you can't destroy public property. Let's look at what happened in Kano. About 21 young guys were captured for destroying some of the government facilities. And that's what we are saying. But, the main concern of Nigerians at this critical time, to people listening to us right now, would be that why has the president decided not to speak yet? Is it that, last week we had the essay to the president on you to join us live in the studio last week, and she said that the president won't definitely come out to just say something in that regard, that he has foot soldiers working for him, he has ministers, he has numerous people working for him, and those people have been saying numerous things. Professor Wale Akinyemi, do you agree totally with what Nigerians are actually requesting at this time, that the president should at least speak to Nigerians?
I think it's gotten to a point where Mr. President should make a live broadcast to Nigerians But it also must be said that it's not every time that the president should be speaking to Nigerian, because that is why he has employed so many people, experts around him, communication experts and experts in other areas, who are representing the president. Anytime you see a minister or you see anybody in the National Assembly speaking on behalf of government, that person is the mouthpiece of Mr. President. So I think Nigerians should accept that. But with the situation we have on the ground now, I think it's very, very important for Mr. President to make a national broadcast to Nigerians. And I believe we will do so within the next, I believe within the next 48 hours, Mr. President will speak to Nigerians. But you mentioned something very, very fundamental. The issue of youth going out to destroy government property. I think it's a problem of reorientation. We need to reorientate our people. That is why in nation building, the human element is the most important thing. If you don't build people, and you are building infrastructure, the people you don't build will destroy those infrastructures. Because, take for example in Ibadan here, some administrations have made the environment to do environmental beautification and the rest of it. But people's attitude, because of the kind of the ravaging effect of poverty, people don't even see beauty in the environment. They don't see beautiful flowers. They don't see all the landscaping that you do. They just work on it. They work on lawn and the rest of it. And that is because fundamentally as individuals, they have not been sufficiently developed. Let me tell you, those guys that vandalize those things in Kano there, they are not sufficiently educated. If they are sufficiently educated, they will have known that the IT center is built for youth. But these are people who probably have not even gone to school. So it does not mean anything to them. As far as they are concerned, let them cut away the computers and go and sell them and then make money and buy food. And they don't know that it's like they are undoing themselves. That is the absolute truth of the matter, because when you destroy government property because you are protesting, whether you like it or not, this gives opportunity to government officials again to do some other contract to replace those things. And those corrupt government officials, it's another opportunity for them to have a field day, because they will now give those awards at very, very prohibitive cost, and they will make their own cut from it. So when you destroy government property, it is not worth it. People can protest, but for crying out loud, they should not vandalize government property, because it's like you are losing at both. It's like burning a candle at both ends. The property you are destroying belongs to you. Meanwhile, the government that you want to appeal to, they are not listening to you. So it doesn't. I am appealing to Nigerians. Please, you can protest by all means, but please don't be destructive.
Absolutely. Thank you, Professor Wole Akinyemi. I'm sure Sergio Joseph, Professor, answered your question. And, before we take in more calls, the Minister of Information and National Orientation of Nigeria, Mohammed Idris Malagi, during a national press conference, has a few things to say. And, of course, to the best interest of our listeners, we have decided to get that. Listen to this. Please don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
But beyond that, for those who have their private vehicles, about 30,000 conversion kits are being provided free of charge to enable people who want to have this seamless transition. 30,000 kits free of charge to be given to them, and this is just the first step. It is going to be a continuous exercise. Now, conversion centers have also been set up around this country, and what is news to all of us is that a survey conducted has indicated that more than $50 million dollars worth of investment has gone into that sector by Nigerians. $50 million so far, and it is still growing. Now, these are private funds that people are putting there so that they could, in turn, get benefit and then help government and help Nigeria to move beyond that. For those who have their private vehicles, about 30,000 conversion kits are being provided free of charge to enable people who want to have this seamless transition.
Yeah, that was the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Idris Malagi. I mean, giving his take about some of the efforts of the government in that regards. Let's also take what the effort of the Minister for Finance, Coordinating Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, what he also has to say in that regards with respect to this ongoing effort by the present government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Is the government doing enough and Nigerians getting in loop with some of this development? Let's listen to what he also has to say in that regards.
We need to go on and make progress and let the necessary bold policies, albeit painful in some aspects, whether we should let those policies grow into maturity or we regress as a society. We must take that decision. We can't escape it. You can't make an omelette without breaking the eggs. There's no way you can advance a society economically, socially, politically, even infrastructurally, without re-engineering and restructuring that society and putting it on the path of enduring progress. All the societies that Nigerians must decide whether we need to go on and make progress and let the necessary bold policies, albeit painful in some aspects, whether we should let those policies.
Absolutely. That was the Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of Economy, Wale Edun. We also have something from the Minister of Steel, Mineral Resources, Dele Alake. He also shares his sense in that regard. You know, there have been several things raised in that regard, as saying that if you must do things, if things must improve or get better, there are numerous efforts that should be put in place. And let's hear what he also has to say in that regards. I mean, as Nigerians. Okay, while we await that, are you ready? Okay, let's have it.
Thank you, the SGF honorable ministers, distinguished participants on this press conference, and members of the media. Good afternoon.
Nigerians must decide whether we need to go on and make progress and let the necessary bold policies, albeit painful in some aspects, whether we should let those policies grow into maturity or we regress as a society. We must take that decision. We can't escape it. You can't make an omelette without breaking the eggs. There's no way you can advance a society economically, socially, politically, even infrastructurally, without re-engineering and restructuring that society.
Absolutely. I mean, that was the Minister of Mineral Resources, Dele Alake, sharing his own sense in that regard. And of course, Nigerians are listening. For people who have said probably the president hasn't come out in person to speak, like Prof rightly said, I mean, when you see representatives of government, the minister, and that's the presidency. Let's take a few comments on Facebook. James Mary says, I really wish we could have this particular segment on the discourse documented and broadcast, cause anyone who isn't listening is really missing out. Thank you, sir, for the beautiful one today on discourse as of other segments. Olaoshibi Kompemi says, good morning, sir. Well done for your work done. Yeah, we appreciate you and your contribution this morning. Just before we proceed, we still have a few other things to bring for your listening pleasure this morning. Just before that time, please don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. We need to go on this short commercial break. And when we are back, you can be rest assured that we would eat your screen and your listening, your ears with some of the great contents that we have for you. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
FM, using the airwaves to bring you happiness.
Because
Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. When it's bright and early, get your breakfast right. You need all the nutrients that will hold you tight. Stay in power, you find it all in Peak. Every move you make, Peak's got you all the way. And the Peak goes on.
Power on every morning with our Peak protein breakfast to make the most of every day. Peak, reach for your peak.
My brother, chase it like as you get suffer. My fellow confused people, I just come for you and I. Before you choke up, just
Life no suppose out like this, and that's now why millions of Nigerians they pay for everything with mobile. Dial *671# or download the new mobile app, make you follow enjoy this better life.
I will show you. Junior, don't do that.
Sweetheart, no matter what you do, we show you love. So you can show more love to everyone.
Mom, how do you show more love to everyone? I will show you love.
Show some more love today with 4 more packs of your favorite Indomie noodles in Indomitable and Super Pack cartons. Also, each Indomitable pack is now 200 naira, while Super Pack is now 350 naira. So hurry now. Offer valid till stock lasts.
Fresh news, best talk, hot music, where else?
Omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
All right, you welcome back from that short commercial break, and you also, our listeners, can definitely patronize us here at Omoluwabi 87.7 FM to maximize the potential of your businesses so that more people will get to know about what you have to offer people. We have Anolu Akbo Olani on Facebook says, well done, sir. Yeah, we sincerely do appreciate you. Professor Wole Akinyemi, this is day 3 of the End Bad Governance protest, and in that regards, we have several things that has been said sequel to that. But I quickly want us to listen to the Chief of Defense Staff, Chris Musa, who said some things as regarding some of the efforts of the government. And just before we take some of the closing shots on the show this morning, just very briefly, we'll listen to what he has to say. And, you know, Agberuwa at this SAN said something yesterday that some of the protesters under the Take It Back movement should resist, should stop the protest. But one of the spokesperson of the Take It Back movement has said, come, Demola, okay, we'll take Demola Adeola. We'll take his comment as regarding what he has to say about the protest. Let's listen to this.
For me, I think that's a ridiculous way to denigrate the genuine agitation. For me, the sponsor of this protest, I've said and I'll say again, is hunger. It's economic inequality, economic deprivation of a larger percentage of the Nigerian people. Anything short of that should not be considered. What we should be considering is that, do people have a genuine reason to take over the street, to express their displeasure? Are people really hungry?
Yeah, and that was Damilola Adionla, who happens to be one of the spokesperson for the Take It Back movement who are protesting in Abuja. The CG of Customs also has something to say as regarding what efforts the government is making, because he raised something as regarding the sponsors of this protest is hunger, right? And what does the CG of Customs have to say? Bashar Adewale, let's listen to what he has to say.
The Nigeria Customs Service is suspending import duties and taxes on essential food items to make them more affordable. We are committed to implementing this measure seamlessly to address the problem of hunger in our nation. We have streamlined the export processes to ensure Nigerian goods reach international markets efficiently. We have introduced tools like advanced ruling system, authorized economic operator, and a time-release study to enhance trade, stimulate the economy, and create opportunities. Our farmers, artisans, and entrepreneurs will now have a faster path to global markets, benefiting their families and communities. We are also intensifying efforts with other agencies to combat the proliferation of arms and dangerous weapons through our land, sea, and airports. We believe in collective efforts and peaceful progress to strengthen our borders. Disruptions to the supply chain affect foreign investment, distort trade, promote instability.
And that's what the CG of the customs has to say, Bashar Adewale, as against what some Nigerians are saying, that governments are now putting in efforts to ensure that hunger becomes a thing of the past in the country. Also, as a response to some of the protesters whose action has been to vandalize and destroy some of public properties, the COD, the Chief of the French Staff, Chris Musa, also has this to say. Let's listen to him.
Without any rancor. I'm sure everyone is disappointed with the outcome. Clearly, the security forces have done extremely very well. I'm very happy to mention what especially the Nigerian police force, have shown a lot of professionalism, including where members of the armed forces had to step in. But you can see that we have remained very professional in our conduct and will continue to do that, as long as the citizens also understand that there's a difference between peace and criminality. What we saw yesterday was, at the beginning, some semblance of a very peaceful demonstration, but which was quickly taken over by a bunch of criminals that don't mean us well. And if you remember, we have warned that there are individuals that are ready to cause mayhem once this starts.
Absolutely, and that was the voice of the Chief of the French Staff, who has some things to share as regarding some of the efforts of the governor, the present-day governor headed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Professor Wale Akinyemi, I mean, you've listened to some of those things as regarding protesters, what the customs are doing towards reducing the cost, not even taking taxes on custom duties. Let's have your take in this regard as your parting shots on the show.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I think it is pertinent for government to warehouse all of these flashpoints of the achievement of government agencies and present it to Mr. President so that I can present it in a very, very emotional, impactful way to Nigerians. Nigerians will feel more reassured if they hear this directly from Mr. President than from any of his aides. So let that be taken careful note of. The other thing is that government should not go to sleep thinking that yes, we have been able to break their bone, because spontaneous protests all over the world are usually very, very violent, because it's like pushing people to the wall, and when you are pushing them to the wall, they have nowhere again to go. They face you. So government must be committed to all the things they have promised to Nigerians now, because we have learned. I don't blame Nigerians really, because look at all the promises, electoral promises that they gave to Nigerians when they were going around. They have not implemented any of them. Instead, they have worsened the situation of Nigerians. And what made it worse and more pathetic is that Nigerians can see the way the operators of government in Nigeria, the kind of lavish lifestyle they are living. It's as if we are not operating in the same economy. So they cannot be pontificating to Nigerians that they should not protest when they are living in a very, very lavish, ostentatious life. I think cost of governance in Nigeria is too much. I think government should make a conscious effort to bring the cost down. Honestly, you cannot be saying that government does not have money, Nigerians should be out, and then they are buying new jets. You spend billions to renovate government houses of government officials. They are buying jeeps for everybody. We see these things with our eyes. So they should not pull wool over the eyes of Nigerians. Nigerians can see all of these things. And then finally, I think they should bridge the gap. There is an emotional hiatus between government and the people that they claim to be governing. You know, it is only when you have situations like this now that they are talking to Nigerians. Before, it's like they are there in their own life and then Nigerians are there doing things separately. Government should try and see a way in which they will break this emotional thing so that there can be better bonding.
Absolutely. Thank you, Professor Wole Akiemi, for joining us live on the discourse this week. We sincerely do appreciate you and, of course, every of our listeners. What will be my own pattern shot on the show today? President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Nigerian youths have gone to the streets to express their anger as regarding the situation of things in our dear country, Nigeria. Nigeria must strive. Nigeria desires more. Nigerians want more. The reason why you and many other people holding different political office, the reason you are in office today is because Nigerians voted you there and they desire more. The hardship, the hunger, and this economic scourge in the country, Nigerians are saying that we want more, we desire more. And this is a call on the president, the presidency, governors, local government chairmen, and people, everyone in different positions of authority, that Nigeria desires more. Things can definitely get better. We appreciate the strides, we appreciate the effort, but there is more that can be done. That's all we'll be able to take on the discourse this morning. We want to appreciate every of our listeners, our callers on the show today for sparing our time to listen to us on the show this morning. Our nation building is your responsibility. It is my own responsibility. You have a role to play, I have a role to play. In protesting, in going out to show your anger as regarding what is happening in the country. Do not destroy public property because we cannot destroy what we currently have now. We cannot afford to lose what we currently have now. And that will be my parting shot on the show this morning. I remain your radio boy, your anchor man, Stephen Adediba. Join me same time, same station on Saturday on this show, The Discourse on omoluwabi 87.7 FM. There are more shows coming for your listening pleasure. Till we meet again, have a great weekend. It's bye for now.